Ernest, and you are listening to the Video and Company Podcast, a podcast where we talk about filmmaking and running a video production business. Today we have Justin Irick, who is a music video producer, director, shooter, who puts out a massive amount of music videos in the Greenville, South Carolina area. Today we talk about how he uses social media, how he networks with musicians to get more music video gigs, and how his team works between him and his editor Drizzy. So here is Justin Irick. So for anyone who hasn't heard of you at all, tell me a little bit about where you're at now in your videography career, what you focus on, and what kind of led up to that point of where you're at now in your career.
Okay, well, right now I feel like I'm doing a lot of music videos. This is primarily what I'm doing. Also a lot of photo shoots. And I guess also right now I'm currently really trying to set up a lot of shows in the Greenville area, rap shows specifically. You know, there's a lot of acoustic stuff going down there, but there's a ton of venues, and so we're trying to take advantage of that as well. I guess to get there, what I tried to really do was, I don't know, maybe about 3 years ago. I've been doing photos for about 8 now, but I really got into videos about 2 years ago. And right around that time, I was just really trying to link with any and every artist in the upstate that I thought was really good at what they were doing. You know, I was vibing with, who I was vibing with, and those were the people I was hitting up and trying to do shoots for. Mm-hmm. And at first it was, just trying to work with people, trying to connect, trying to link, and hoping the best would come from it, right? And from there, I guess just putting out more work that way and getting a little bit better and a little bit better. More and more people just started to recognize what I was doing, and more people just wanted to work with me. So that's kind of how that grew into what it is today. I feel like it was all the networking that I tried to do, and all the people I was hitting up and going to a whole bunch of shows or studio sessions and just talking to any artist I could.
And that's what you were pretty much doing every moment you were considered working. It was pretty much that was what you did every day for a while.
Yeah, it took me a minute. I was working regular jobs. I was delivering pizza, or I worked at a hotel for a little bit, and I was working on cars before I was really doing this full time. And I was trying to make this full time while I was working on cars, and I was just kind of letting things come to me as they came. And I noticed that I wasn't really doing a lot of photos, and at that time I wasn't doing any videos. And I was I thought it was weird. I thought I did good work, but nothing was coming from it. How was I supposed to make this a full-time job with the pace I was going at? Mm-hmm. And that was basically when I realized that I had to take matters into my own hands, and I had to hit the people up. I had to be let's work. I had to be yo, I got these spots. Yo, I think you'd look dope if we did some shoots together. And that's really how it got the ball rolling. Me putting the foot forward per se.
Yeah. Did you definitely feel that it's hard? You can't really go full time while you're doing something else part-time because just the way things line up? Or was it easy for you because a lot of the people you were reaching out to generally are free all night because that's their prime time is nighttime and weekends? Or did you have trouble kind of with scheduling?
Man, I guess it kind of was a little easy at first. Everybody else at this point in time seems to have a day job too. There are definitely a handful of people that don't, or, that just do their own thing and make money however they want and don't have a day job, you know what I mean? But there are a lot of people that also have day jobs, so me getting off at 5 or 6 wasn't necessarily the biggest issue. Or I would always have some 2 days off during the week, and I could utilize those 2 days to the fullest and try and get, shoots all day in or something. It definitely made it a little bit harder, especially I worked at Toyota of Greenville, and it's a more serious job per se, I guess. And they didn't want to give me all the time off that I needed. And so I was trying to ride that out for as long as I could. But I just, I got a job at one point that, was going to take me away from work for 2 weeks. And I needed to it was going to happen in basically 1 week, less than that, at that time. And so I'd let them know. And I basically told them, I got to have it off. And, if you don't give it to me, it's okay. I understand. But, I'm down to come back and still work after the 2 weeks. and they said they just like couldn't do it because of the other employees and stuff. And that's when I was like, all right, I guess I'm like going at it full time. It was a big job. I already had some money saved up, and I was like, while I'm doing this for 2 weeks, I can try and like, book other jobs and stuff. And, I was just like, gotta go for it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did.
Use it as a catapult. It's funny. That's very similar to like when I quit doing non-video related day jobs. Is that I was a butcher at an organic grocery store, and someone hired me to go to Miami for like a weekend. Super dope. And then as soon as we get back, they're like, all right, you ready for Vegas? And I was like, I've got a job. They're like, quit it. So like I can definitely connect with that. But what was the gig that was taking you away from work? Like, what was the gig?
It was this band called In the Empire. They're based out of Greenville, South Carolina. And they wanted me to go on a tour with them for 2 weeks. They were going like up and down the East Coast, like at least up to like I think Ohio or Chicago. And I think, we did like one show in Atlanta, so we didn't really go like down the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But, we went to like DC and Minnesota and a whole bunch of places like that. But it was super dope, mad worth it. I didn't get like, the biggest paycheck for it, if I'm being real, for like what would be expected for 2 weeks worth of work.
Yeah.
But I know In the Empire really well. Great group of dudes. Like I've been growing up with one of them practically like almost my whole life, the drummer. And they really like my first live action photography photo, like I don't even know what I'm saying, like during a concert was of In the Empire. And so like, I don't know, they really helped me get started and gave me a lot of motivation, and for them to even pay the price that I asked for. And I told them like, they got to pay me that or I'm not going to be able to turn away from my job like I did. And they were backing me 100%. They were really with me, and that meant a lot to me. What I mean? It was pretty crazy that they thought I was really worth that much, and to go on tour with them for 2 weeks, live with them like that, and to document the whole thing, it was really dope.
Well, that's definitely a big milestone, is when you get that first yes on what you might perceive to be like really good money, where it's like, okay, there is a way to do this for a living and actually like be comfortable. But and I've heard some clients recently have said something to me about doing the whole tour gig, and I don't think that line of work's really for me. But then he started to tell me like how much his videographer was getting paid to do it for like a band on their label or something like that, and I was like, man, it's actually sounds like good cash, but I don't know, it's just not my line of work. But you do a lot of live concert photography and filming, and a lot of it looks great. You do a lot of music video stuff that's like more like production wise, where it's you got a set or location, and you don't have a crew, but you do have a partner, and I wanted to talk to you about that too. So I'm used to either being a small cog in a big crew, and barely having like a small part, or just doing everything on my own. But having that kind of like duo setup that you got going on, can you like elaborate a little bit on that and like what each of you do and how it started?
For sure. That's the person you're talking about is my boy Drake, Drizzy XXV. He kills it with what he does. He does a lot of the editing for the videos that we do. He doesn't just do a lot. He does like all of it. And he does graphics design. He makes like album art. He does flyers, like I swear, like the best flyers in the state. And he just like, that's where he kills it on his editing and his flyers and stuff. He's been actually making a couple of music videos recently on his own. Like, we'll get booked on the same day or something and someone wants us both, but he'll just go do that video and I'll go do out like the other video, and then he'll just edit them both. So it's like really dope in that aspect as well. He got himself a really nice camera not too long ago, like to allow for that. But yeah, so we do like all of our videos together, that's for sure. And, we just come together whenever, someone hits us up, and we come up with an idea together depending on how in depth they're trying to go with it. And, we'll pitch that idea to the person who wants to do it. And then, they'll either go for it or they won't. And then we'll get all the pieces together, and, we'll just make it happen when it comes to the day of, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to the shoot date, we'll already know the spot and like where we want to shoot. And then when we get there, we'll just get like really specific with, the amount of people that show up. It definitely can be like, really off the wall, or we'll plan like something all the way. And then like, normally we need help from the artist that we're shooting with, and that can pose an issue sometimes. Like they're going to say they're going to get some people, or they're going to get some models or something, or some cars, or, whatever it may be. And it doesn't always follow through. So, we always have to, not always, but sometimes have to improvise on the spot and come up with something to fill in the spots, or, you know, sometimes come up with a whole new idea. You know what I mean? It can be really crazy sometimes, but with having Drake, you know, he be thinking about stuff, he be looking, and he'll just throw stuff out, and something will come in his head, and he'll be like, yo, we need to do this, 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 and this. And I'm like, I like how that sounds, let's do it. And so that's kind of how that goes, I guess. You know, when we're on spot like that, when it comes to the editing, it's all him. I'll send him the clips. I'll like take it to his house or whatever. You know, we'll go over everything, you know, what type of editing style we're going for, type of colors, you know, if we're trying to go super crazy on the effects or keep it more, you know, cinematic. You know, that all happens after we shoot it, of course. Like the next day, we normally try and get right on top of it. So yeah, that's how me and Drake kind of do that stuff. You know, you kind of asked how it got started.
Yeah.
I guess about 2 years ago, like when I got started doing videos, there's this artist named Foreign. He's from Greenville as well. He's really tight with Drake. They were actually in a group together called Roz. They still are. But Foreign, I noticed him and I heard his music and I really liked what he was doing. And that was right around the time when I was hitting up a whole bunch of artists to try and work with them and just take their pictures and stuff to network. And he was one of the ones that I wanted to do that with. So I was trying to hit him up, trying to like catch him at a show. But like, you know, Foreign be all over the place. So it was kind of hard to catch him. And I eventually got him at a show, took some dope pictures. He ended up posting some. And then like he was responding to me on Instagram, and we ended up linking at Poe Mill back in Greenville. And what's it called? I took some pictures, like the first official photo shoot with him there. And I guess he showed those pictures to Drake. And, you know, he was like talking to Drake saying like, you know, Drake was doing all of his visuals at the time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he was talking to Drake about like us working together and stuff. And that was right around the same time when I was like getting asked to do my first music video. And, you know, I've done photo shoots, never done a music video, and I can shoot one. You know what I mean? Like, I think I have the good eye for it, and I think I know what's going to look good and what looks bad and stuff like that. But I'm not going to be able to piece it together. I'm not going to be able to edit it, at least in the way that I think it should be done. Right. You know, I could definitely have given it a go, and I've edited videos for sure. But, you know, there's a different level of quality, and, you know, I have a different standard. And that's where Drake's comes into play. I saw his videos he was doing for Foreign. And, you know, there weren't a lot of people doing music videos like 2-3 years ago. But Drake was putting out some pretty nice content, especially in consideration to what I was seeing, at least out of Greenville. It just, you know, doesn't happen the same, and it hasn't been happening the same. And then that's what made me hit up Drake. And he said he was down to work. I said I had some clips for him. And he got me to edit back within like a couple of days, like super quick. And I was like, snap, like, you know, we need to see what's up with this. And it was dope. Everybody was loving it. And I was like, you know, we could really do this, bro. And like, you know, I could get money for you and me every single time. And, you know, we could just really start to, you know, improve what we're doing and really do this. And like, literally, like, that's how it got started. Like, basically through Instagram. And then once I got on the first one, we met up. Like, you know, some shit went down and I had to, like, I gave him my computer basically for, you know, I lent it to him because, like, it had a lot more memory than mine, like his did. And he could do a lot more stuff. He could download, like, more plugins for Final Cut. And like help him take his editing to the next level. So he's been going crazy with that, you know, get the new camera, you know, working with, you know, bigger names, going to Atlanta and Charlotte. Those are the main two cities that like we've really expanded to. But, you know, it's pretty much all because of Drake. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, me a little bit too, but, you know, when he came in and his edits and stuff, it really changed the game. And, you know, people love what Drake do, and people love Drake as a person too. And so I think even having him around, you know what I mean, it helps a ton. And, you know, sometimes when I got to go to a shoot and he got something else to do, every time people are like, yo, where Drizzy at, bro? Where Drizzy? You know, he's doing his own thing. Like, he working too. But they always respect that because that's, you know, we putting in double the work. You know what I mean? Yeah. They know how it goes. So shouts out to Drizzy.
Completely forgot. It was way back in the day when I first realized who you were, which I don't remember the first artist I saw you do work for. But I do remember it was around the time that, like, I was doing a lot of stuff with Icarus.
Oh, okay.
And it was, like, so that's crazy to know that, like, that's really when you were making the transition. I mean, you still do photos, but you were making the transition of, like, doing photos full-time to, like, trying to do video full-time.
Yeah.
Right around that same span that, like, I pretty much discovered who you were. And I think it had something to do with Drake being in Roz because Icarus and Roz were, they were in a lot of communication. I think they worked together a little bit. I don't know how much got released, but like that was a completely different like phase of like me and my company and stuff like that. I think it was like that was before the name change because I used to be Black Fathom Films or whatever.
Oh, snap.
But Yeah, that's crazy that like that was actually all around the same time, because I've been aware of you since around that time. And then I remember it might have been the Omen show. It might not have been the Omen show. It might have been something that like Young Ill was doing at Studio 1212. And I ran into you and I ran into Midnight Collective. Do you remember that?
I definitely remember something at Studio 1212, like with Hal Castel. I think he was performing
there.
up there. Yeah.
Because you came with him, right?
Yep, no doubt.
Hasn't he gone through several name changes?
I think he's just like instead of Hal Castel, he's like Gigi Castel now.
Okay.
But he's still popping and going hard. He got a show coming up like September 13th in Greenville.
Okay. Awesome. Who's that with?
It's with DJ Dollar Menu, Max Goods, and Foreign actually as well.
Okay. Yeah,
there's actually
I've
a couple other
Foreign's
names,
kind of,
but
I didn't see a lot from him for a while, but now I'm starting to like hear more and see more. And
yeah, he
did that
disappeared.
collab
but...
with Keep My Secrets and Darren.
Oh yeah, from Brigades. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was a great song.
Yeah, I swear I was bumping that on the way here, man. They be killing it when they be getting together.
Yeah, for sure. So it's interesting, you know, everything you said about Drake, because I didn't know how the relationship was with you guys, and like I noticed that you both market like each individually, so there's not like really a brand of just you two combined. It's almost like you're a team, but everybody knows like the single part of the team, and that's like how you're branded. Is that like accurate?
I would like to say so. That is just how it is. You know what I mean? That is pretty spot on. It's, I'm Irick Images. He's Drizzy XXV, shot by Drizzy. You know, we definitely don't have like one name like that. You know what I mean? Like Lyrical Lemonade, like a company name per se. Definitely don't have that. But it's like you said, at the same time, everybody knows like that we work together. I think that's just because of, you know, us doing countless videos together and stuff, or, you know, I'll tell people that I can do album artwork or get them a flyer, and like I can just get the hookup for it, and my hookup is Drake.
Right.
So it's like super good with that, and you know, he can do the same with photos. And like I'm his hookup for photos. So you know, it's a really good way. I personally love the way we do it. You know, people say like, you know, you got to do stuff on your own, or, you know, it's really hard to trust people and this and that. And like, you know, that can be facts, and like having other people to worry about or rely on, you know, I can see how that could be a hindrance to certain things, but I feel like when you got the right person,
yeah,
it can be such an improvement to things. You know what I mean? It can totally help a situation instead of not help the situation. It's not like I'm worrying about Drake or, oh, is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? You know, he said he was going to get this back. You know, is he gonna? Like, there ain't no questions. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when I tell somebody that Drake said something and that he's going to have it back then, like, it's not a worry. It's not like, I don't know. It's maybe I trust him too much. Maybe some people would say that, but it's just, you know, what he's done and the relationship I feel like we developed, and that's just how it goes right now.
Yeah. I mean, when you have that kind of chemistry and the experience, and I mean, like, it's, you know, the social proof is there that like you guys have worked together for so long and everything's gone well. And not only that, but like they always say that something with a bigger crew is going to look better than something with no crew. And that's just because the amount of teamwork that comes together, like there's just so many different angles. And I know sometimes that if I had a relationship like that with like either if it was like a grip or like an AC or even an editor or something like that, that I feel like my work might become better because of them, which would then be our work.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely behind the whole, you know, having an actual team built. It's just something that is kind of new to me, and like I've said in like previous episodes, I'm really trying to get out of that and try to become, you know, a team member for someone else, because that's when like the dream starts to work, you know?
Yeah, it really can be. It can definitely be hard, and like I don't even know how it happened with me and Drake, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I feel like it just really takes the right person, you know what I mean? Like Drake could have been, you know, he could have just taken the money and been like, bet, like we ain't working no more, or, you know, I don't know, he was rapping too, and he decided to go heavy on the videos instead of to go heavy on the rap right now. Like, you know, Drake felt something at the same time. Drake just being the person who he is like part of the reason why it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, I don't know. If you can find someone like Drake, bet. If I can find another person like Drake to find on the team, like, bet. But, you know, a whole bunch of people want to be on the team or want me and him to be on their team.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know, it's not, I don't know, like
That's how you dilute the well, you know?
yeah,
That's
and
how
it's
you
not
change
like
it up.
yeah, it was more natural with me and him, and it's not like I was like, yo, let's make a team, bro.
So, tell me about, like, I've wanted to have this conversation with several people that have repeat clients or have, like, big clients that, you know, come back every once in a while. So, like, I know Scully's pretty big, and he's been working with you for a while.
Yep.
Y'all don't have, like, a contract or anything like that. It's just pretty much like a relationship that he likes your work, so he likes how you work, so he keeps coming back. And,
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
having a big name like that, a part of your business, and, you know, keeping food on the table and stuff like that. How important is it that you have, you know, someone big like that, or someone that, like, repeats, always comes and gets videos from you, like, every other month?
Yeah. I mean, the repeat customers are important, and you know, when someone like Scully, like, you know, it's definitely the relationship we build. You know, we pull up on him, we'll come up with the ideas, you know, on spot in front of him with him. You know what I mean? We don't try and be Hollywood with it, or like we try and cater to the artist, like especially someone like Scully, like, you know, he's genuine and he's real with what he says and when he says it, like, and it's pretty rare. So that's why we like to f with him. That's why we come to him. That's why we pull back, and you know, it's why we're willing to, you know, do what it takes to make something dope with him. You know what I mean? It's different. We got a whole bunch of artists that like to come back and use our services, but you know, I don't know, like sometimes you coming back for the third, fourth time, you know, with a like a negative attitude or something over and over and over, like come the fourth, fifth time, you know, I'm not going to want to work again. That might sound weird because people are like, oh, what about the money? But, you know, if I'm suggesting something and then, you know, you shoot it down and you're like, nah, we're not doing that. Or, you know, you trying to travel like 2 hours and I'm like, you know, you got to cover gas money. And you're like, no, I'm not trying to do that. Like, or you say you're going to pay something and then when you're giving the payment, you don't have the money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's bad business. And like, that's what's going to make me basically be like, all right, you know, we're not working no more. Or I'm going to make it way more difficult for you if we are going to work. You know what I mean? But having someone like Scully or, you know, anybody that comes back and does the business the right way, like that is extremely valuable. And, you know, it's hard to find that too, even in my opinion. You know, rappers that are serious, that take their craft serious, that know they got something. And, you know, there's even a lot of people that I feel like got skill or got talent that doesn't necessarily invest in themselves the proper way, or maybe they just don't recognize their talent the same way that I do. You know what I mean? And excuse me, like I know that's possible and everybody sees themselves differently and views themselves with the most critical eye, but there are definitely some people out there that I wish they would like go extra hard because they got extra good stuff. But it's really weird out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like stuff costs a lot and there's so many people doing it. You really got to do it the right way, and I don't know. It's crazy for sure. But the repeat customers, people like Scully, anybody that comes back repeatedly, you know, Scotty K, DJ Dollarman, Max Goods, Shiva, you know, all those people, those are like, you know, people from Greenville, you know, anybody like that is awesome. You know, they do great business, great work. It's also super important. You know, I'm not going to want to work with you over and over and over if I don't like your music. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be on the same wavelength, and we got to be, you know, on the same page with things all around, in my opinion.
Yeah.
At least to make, like, the best possible work. And that's really what I like to do. Like, if I'm not posted it on my page or something, like, you know, it's because I'm not as proud of it as I really want to be.
I'm not sure if I'm introducing you to a new group with having you on the show, or if a lot of people that I generally work with and talk with might be aware of you. But something that's always kind of had me like respect what you guys are doing is the volume of work. So how, like, I know every year's a little different. Like this year has been way different for me than last year, but like there's kind of a general theme of like how each year goes, and it's like expected to be similar, at least hopefully for the better. But like so far it's September 1 now. How many videos have you shot this year alone?
I have no idea. I can't lie. That's a very good question. I could check, but off the top of my head.
Would you say how many you're doing a month, and then we could just add them up?
It's such a variation. I want to say like, I mean, I could say, you know, 4 a month.
Four videos a month?
Yeah.
If it looks like you're releasing stuff a lot. See, and my thing is like I'll shoot like some behind the scenes, just like a photo of like, oh, this is my lighting setup. I'm here at this location or whatever, and then like you won't hear about that project for like sometimes ever, and then like it might be like 3 months later, I'm like, hey, I'm releasing something. But like, I don't really, it looks like you're releasing something constantly, or at least you're promoting like the release.
I feel you. People definitely say that. Like, they say that I'm always like super busy and they don't know how I do it. And maybe I am super busy and I just don't really think so. Like I say, like, 4 videos a month, but maybe like the past 2 months, I may have only done like, 3 in 2 months.
Yeah. Now, is that releasing videos or doing the videos?
Doing the videos.
Okay.
And it's just, it's weird sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, and then there was one day last week that I booked 2 videos on one day. And you know what I mean? Like that's, and then that's like both within the same month that I already have, like a couple other videos planned. And it's, it adds up out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. But
well, so how many shoot days would those videos be? Are they all like 1 day shoots?
Generally, yeah.
Okay.
There's definitely a few that's like, 2 or 3, but it's generally 1 day shoots.
Okay. Well, that's crazy.
I don't know. I think also how I put stuff out, is different, like allows for a different perception. Perception is everything, you know what I mean? And how you put things out and what you allow people to perceive per se.
And it's interesting because I was on the phone with a friend of mine who is in the video work as well. And I was just like being humble. I was just being modest. I was just talking about like how there's like so many cool people in this area that like are doing amazing things and like their work's great. And that like, I always say that I find myself in the middle. And he was saying what you were saying about like the perception thing, because I wouldn't think about it like, I feel like what I'm seeing is like realistic, is being real, but I do forget that it's like social media is easy to like kind of hide, dark spots or hide, gray areas and stuff like that. And he was just saying like that there's definitely a perception thing going on with that, like maybe we're not giving ourselves the right amount of credit because we're not really there seeing what they're doing, and it's all about the end result.
Like primetime example right here. Just recently I posted 3 photos from like the Carolina Panthers Buffalo Bills training camp.
Yeah, I saw that.
People were going nuts over those images, dude. I was so close to not doing it. Like going out there, you know what I mean? Like I paid $40 to rent the lens to shoot those photos. I wasn't commissioned to be out there. I just went out on my own accord because Shaq Lawson of the Buffalo Bills, he gave me a follow a couple weeks back, and he just said my stuff was dope. And so I was like, bet, he plays for the Bills and he's coming to Spartanburg. I'm literally just go and try and take pictures of him like I do the rappers, send it to him, and hey, maybe he posts them and, maybe other NFL players see it, whatever. And it happened. Well, I sent it to him. I went and took the pictures, sent it to him. He said, thanks, fam. And like, that was that, he like shared his stuff on his story, but he didn't post anything. Like, it's all good. Like, it's not like he's obligated to or anything like that. But people were literally thinking that, like, I guess I was hired by the Panthers or something.
Yeah.
And I was not, I even tried the second post that I made after the first one, and people like freaking out. I was like, behind the fences. And maybe that made people think that I was like, actually next to him or something, like saying behind the fences, you know what I mean? But I guess like if you go to the training camps, like I was thinking the fences are behind the sidelines, and if I'm behind the fences, like, I don't know, I'm with all the other fans. So, perception is everything.
Yeah.
I was even talking to one of my other friends about that. Like, people really think I got hired by the Panthers, and like, it blew my mind, like what people were saying. Like, they were so proud of me and stuff. Some people were sending me DMs, and I'm just like, man, like, some people call me stupid for telling the truth, and like, yo, just let people think what they want. And I'm like, I fucking hate that stuff. Like, lying or, deceiving and stuff like that. Like there's too much lying, too much deception going on right now, like already by everyone damn near, that I just try and not be a part of it, more or less. So, anybody asks me anything, I don't care what it is. Another videographers, they ask me my prices often. Like, I'll tell them what I charge. Like, people call me stupid for that as well.
Yeah,
I ain't got nothing to hide.
That too.
Like, yeah, like nothing to hide, man. Like, even when it comes down to the equipment I use, the lens I shoot with, and the camera I shoot with, like, I'll give you the recipe. Like, that don't mean you're gonna mix it right.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something like, I don't know if it's like my philosophy that I'm just hung up on right now, but I feel like it's really important. And you're talking about transparency, but it's like if you tell everyone exactly how you did everything, Like, because some people would keep that a secret. I used to be all hung up about like all my techniques or like my business methods and stuff like that. They're like, those were my secrets. I'm like, no, dingus, everybody knows that stuff. But if you actually go out there and tell everybody how you did it, it only makes you look like more of an expert. So it's like, instead of hiding it and trying to like keep some kind of mystery about how you did it or like what equipment you use or what techniques you use, like if you actually like let people know, they'll be like, oh, they'll get educated and then realize he is smarter than we thought he was.
Yeah.
By just being honest. And it gives people value. So it's like you're more of a resource for people.
Yep. And not to mention, like, if they're asking you for advice, like, they see that they see value in what you're doing. They got to, if they think you can give them some knowledge that they don't have, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's low key a compliment in itself when someone's looking for you for something.
Something else, talking on the social media front, because I did want to talk to you about, you do a really good job with your social media. And I feel like that's a big part of like, not only just like everybody knowing who you are in the community, especially like the Greenville area, based on your work and like just based on your track record, but social media has like really helped you out a lot as well. But a social media, I guess what people don't really think is social media, it technically is, but YouTube, and it's something I'm really getting into a lot deeper nowadays. You post your music videos, like your client work, essentially, you post a lot of it on your own YouTube channel. Do you post all of it on your own YouTube channel, or do you just only put, like, what's the percentage looking like?
I want to say probably like 90%, maybe 95%, almost all of it. The only ones that I don't get to is when like an artist like Scully, he prefers to post his stuff on his own channel. Totally understandable, you know what I mean? He takes his stuff seriously. I'm going to give him that right, like, you know what I mean? Like maybe one day I'll drop one of his videos on my page, but it would be something that we discussed but like beforehand if that happened, you know what I mean? But other than that type of situation, I feel like I'm going to be dropping it on my channel. There has been like this rapper named FK. He got the dude who produced the beat for the video to drop it on his YouTube, and that's because that producer has like 200,000 followers or something, like subscribers on YouTube. So I was like, hell yeah, like if he wants to post it, that's cool for sure.
Yeah. It kind of seems that, and I don't want to compare you to anyone, but like it seems like with the way that you do the videos and the way that you're looking into show promotions and the way that you're having all your client work, which is mostly music videos, going onto your own YouTube channel, that you're kind of like centralizing everything. And it is reminiscent of like the Lyrical Lemonade like business model of how he was putting everything on his YouTube channel. He's promoting shows, which will help him get clients, but also it like helps build the community and stuff like that. Do you see it that way kind of?
Yeah, it was actually interesting. I saw Cole Bennett's TED Talk when that came out, a while back. And I was just like, while he was speaking what he was speaking, I never really considered it beforehand. But when I saw that, he was basically talking about how he did things and like just really breaking it down. And I was definitely thinking like I definitely feel like me and my boy Shiva, he's one of the ones that's really helping me put on these shows around here. And I was thinking like I really feel like I didn't consider the YouTube channel thing, to be honest, but I think we are doing things very similar to how Lyrical Lemonade did them, like in Chicago per se, but we're just doing it down here. Yeah. Not necessarily by design. I think that we're just trying to do things that we think are the most efficient and best way possible to spread things. I've just been doing the YouTube channel thing. Like I used to have like a gaming YouTube channel, so I was already pretty keen to how YouTube worked and what was best and what was not. And I know consistency is key, and so that's why if you want your music video shot by me, like it's gonna go on my channel, you know what I mean? And like unless it's talked about beforehand, and people don't have a problem with that, you know what I mean? I've got like almost 600 subscribers. It's not a ton, but I've got some videos that pop off every now and then. I really tell the artist, it really depends on your true fan base and how much you promo. It's gonna get about 1,000 views, pretty much guarantee you that. But past that, it really depends on how good the song is and what your promo is.
Exactly. And I mean, 600 isn't anything to sneer at for sure. I think my channel's just just below the 400 mark or something like that. And it's like you can still get people very involved with like a small fan base, but it's like if people really care and people really involved, like a thriving YouTube channel has nothing to do with the view count. Just like an Instagram channel Instagram account doesn't have to have like tons. You don't have to have the K. You can have like 1,000 followers, but it's like if 200 like really really love your stuff, then it's like you're good. Like that, it's that engagement. That's what really matters. And are you familiar with Jacob Owens and the
Oh
Buff
yeah,
Nerds at all?
for sure.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice. So like he did the same thing. He did it with like Super Duper Kyle, which I guess is just Kyle now, because like they started filming together with this similar kind of relationship that like you've had with one of your clients and I might have had with similar clients. But when Jacob Owens shot any of his videos, it would always go to his YouTube channel, which is now like grown it immensely. And he's like, I think he's got like 500,000 or something like that. But
Oh, yeah.
I know he does a lot of tutorials and stuff. So I didn't want it to just be like, oh, it's like Lyrical Lemonade. No, it's a business model that Buff
Oh,
Nerds
yeah.
have done, and it's kind of like a thing, especially in the music
Hell
video
yeah,
industry.
no doubt, no doubt. Despite how big I think the rap scene is in Greenville, like there's still a ton of people who don't know about its existence, and that's what we really, really trying to change with what we're doing.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like, if sometimes it feels that like when you are on the outside of a community, you can be completely unaware of like its littlest existence.
Yeah.
And then you just scratch the surface and you're like, oh, there's something actually here. And then it doesn't take long before you're like right in the middle of it. And it's hard to even see anything outside of it. It's like, it's almost as like you're fully enveloped in this community. And it's like, it's hard to like be on the reverse and
No, I
be
feel
looking
you. That's
back
a really
inside.
good way to put it, I think, for real.
Yeah.
I've definitely considered that. There's definitely been rap shows that have gone down, like, every now and then, I guess, like, people, I'm sure there are some people that would try to heavily argue what I said. But, I think you can't argue the fact that, like this month in September, we got a show going on the 7th, the 13th, and the 20th, all in September, like all in Greenville, like all local performers. Like, that's, in my opinion, unheard of in Greenville. And 2 of the shows are in downtown Greenville. And that never happens, you know what I mean? And we made both of those shows like free to enter, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we trying to get as many people out as possible, especially at these downtown ones. So when people come out, like, these owners will realize that there is a scene, like, all of these people are going to be buying their beer, like buying their food, like, hopefully so many people come out and spend their money to where these owners are like, yo, come back and do this again. Because, I can put 100 of my own dollars into these into these shows, like for promo. But, imagine if, everybody else put, even just $20 or $10. Like, I try to low key tell them, but it's more beneficial than what people would realize. You know what I mean? Just promo is not what it is everywhere else in Greenville. We were even like me, Shiva, my boy Steven, who runs Latron. Shout out Latron's dope ass clothing company, and he is big about the scene. We were setting up flyers all around downtown Greenville, going into restaurants, putting them up in windows, handing them out to people on the street. And like I was just thinking, like I've never been handed a flyer on the streets of downtown Greenville for a rap show, for any show. Like it just doesn't happen in Greenville, and I don't know. Like I think it can change stuff. You know what I mean? Like we were even putting them up. Like we need to see more of these flyers. Like we're the only ones doing it, but. You know what I mean? Like, I just want it to change. You know what I mean? And I think that's I think we're working towards it.
And you're investing in this, I don't know if you call it movement, but whatever it is, it's something that like you're investing your time and your own money into, and other people are investing their time and money into, and no one's expecting to get anything necessarily like tangible out of it other than, the project going well.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm about to say, like, Shiva, Steven, like any of the artists on the lineup, they know that it's a free show. Like, they saw the message that I said about, the promo and stuff, and they know what's going down, and definitely no one has any expectations except, if we do this right, it's going to be dope, and it being dope, would benefit everybody. You know what I mean? But, it's, even just doing the first one, learned real quick, didn't make, but like, I think like, I think I swear like $10, like after paying everybody what I had to pay them, and, after considering what I put into it before I got paid, you know what I mean? Like subtracting that from what I was paid, I didn't make very much, but that first show was, I guess it could have gone better, but it was an amazing night. There were, probably about like 300 to 400 people there. It was just super lit. People had a great time. You know what I mean? Like it was dope. And it was partially because of how we promoted it. You know what I mean? And also the artists we had on it too, like nothing but like the best local artists like in Greenville. We tried to load it up, but it's the investment that we made in it. And, the fact that we all really, really wanted it. I think, it really means something when people really want something and they actually go do what it takes to get it. You know what I mean? It's
sure.
different. Like, so many people be trying to put on shows, but they just like post the flyer. Like, even if they post it 100 times, like, on the 10th time, your Instagram followers are going to stop liking it. And, it's like, I don't know. You got to do different stuff that people aren't used to. You know what I mean? Like,
It's marketing.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, you can't just, it's not.
People ain't used to it in Greenville.
Yeah. So it's always being different. And I mean, that's another part of like what this podcast is about, is like really to like go into like, marketing as a company, but you can take learning what you learned from like starting a show and promoting a show, that like you're essentially promoting a product. So it's like whatever you learned from that, like you can put it into your own business and do the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. It's definitely a little bit different, but no doubt.
Yeah.
I think what I'm doing is good. I'm really trying to get better at it. You know what I mean? Even if that means like getting a new camera or getting a new lens. Sometimes I rent lenses and stuff. I think I got a really good camera. But like a new one would just be, thousands of dollars.
What are you looking for in a new camera?
I guess higher frame rate. That's what else do I need in my opinion?
Okay.
I guess like I don't know everything there is to know about a camera if I'm being super real. But
you just know that there's something that you like.
It
has that you need.
Yeah, I know. I'm very strong on the camera isn't everything. You know what I mean? You can give someone even my camera, and they won't be able to do anything with it because they just don't know how to use it.
Yep.
But at the same time, I do know that a better camera to the right person can be extremely useful. So in that case, you know what I mean? I just know like I don't know like even sensors or different lenses that can be allowed. Like even your camera is like a huge step up. You know what I mean? And like the cinematography and stuff that it can do with just the picture that it presents. People like a certain image. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all about just creating that image.
And I will say like something that I've learned about upgrading, because I guess it was 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. I was like really hung up on I need a new camera, and it was when I just had the Canon. And I realized what it was I wasn't. It's not always about upgrading. Because hoping that like the new camera body will like make the work better. But what I realized is I ended up not upgrading for a longer time, up until like just recently did I upgrade. But when I was hoping to upgrade so much, if I go back and I watch videos that I made with that camera, and then I look at the last few videos that I made with this camera like recently, they look so much better. It's the same camera, same lenses. They look so much better because I actually like got to the point where this camera could no longer offer me anything better. Where it's like I had learned that camera where I'm like, I'm getting the best possible image out of it. Now I have to upgrade because like I can't go any further. So it's like, but I was 2 years before that, I was like, I need something new because I need it to look better. And it's like, well, there was like fundamentals that I completely just were ignoring.
I feel you.
Like my exposure sucked. Like 2 years ago, my exposure was trash. I like blew stuff out all the time. I never like did anything dark. It was always super bright, and so it's like I didn't understand like skin tones had to be in a certain area, and it was just crazy that like just to see the difference between like same camera, same lens, just like I knew more fundamentally.
No, I feel you, yeah. It makes a difference for sure.
Go ahead and let everybody know. Is there anything that you want to plug? Any kind of projects coming out? The shows, just where they can find you. Just go ahead and like let everybody know where they can find you at.
Word. My name is Irick Images on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. Check me out, IrickImages.com as well. If you want to see my portfolios or all of my videos, feel free to contact me at any time you need on my social media. Hit my DMs. I'm active. Always got my phone on me. We got these shows coming up September all throughout. September 7th, we got at the Velo Fellow, and September 13th at Birds Fly South. Both free shows. And then there's another one September 20th at the Firmament, brought to you by Keep My Secrets and Company. Shout out Keep My Secrets. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man. Irick Images. Shout out Drizzy. Shout out Latrons. Shout out all the homies. You know what I mean? Shout out all the homies.
I appreciate it. All right, man. Thanks for coming on.